When Raul Valle was 16 years old, he stabbed 17-year-old James McGrath to death. James was unarmed. It happened in the middle of a wild fight outside of a party Raul was not invited to. Raul claimed self-defense, and the jury acquitted him of murder. Raul also stabbed 3 other teenagers who survived. He was also acquitted of the most serious charges connected to those attacks. Well, now prosecutors have refiled charges connected to the lesser included offenses the jury was deadlocked on. Is this justice? Tonight, we take a closer look. But first, an attack caught on video outside of a high school. A father going after his teenage daughter, fighting off other teenagers who are trying to get him away from his daughter. It's a complicated family situation that turned violent in a very public way. Now the dad and mom are charged with attempted murder, and it's time for the victim, their own daughter, to tell the jury what happened in the attempted honor-killing trial. And tonight, we have all the big moments and all the dramatic testimony from inside the courtroom. I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. Great to have you aboard in this case. It's heartbreaking. You're talking about a family that is broken now. You know, whatever happens in this trial, you know, for the rest of their lives, this family is shattered. And that's a tragedy. But prosecutors are also saying this was attempted murder, which is extremely serious. The victim in the case is the defendant's own daughter. And we talk about, you know, domestic violence and child abuse, et cetera, and things that happen like that. Most of the time it's behind closed doors. Most of the time we don't know exactly what happened. We see the results of it, but we don't know exactly what happened. Here, we see it all. There's a whole bunch of witnesses who saw it, and it's all caught on camera. Now, the question about this video, though, is there more than one interpretation of the video of this fight or attack, whatever you want to call it? Is there more than one way to look at it? Because we all looked at it, and I'm like, wow, this father is angry. This father is aggressive. This father is violent. This father is going after his daughter. This father is on top of his daughter. This father has his arms around her neck. Now, is there another way to interpret that video? Well, it's a trial, so there's always arguably another way to look at it, but is there another real way to look at this? Will he tell his story? Will the father tell his story? Will he get up on the witness stand and tell the jury what is happening in the video and explain to them why it's not attempted murder? Why, in his mind, it's justifiable conduct? Will he do that? I don't know. You know, most defendants' lawyers don't want them to testify. But if there's another way to look at this video, because you look at it and I see what I see. But am I just jaded looking at it through the eyes of the prosecution? Maybe. But tell me your story. And how about the mother? She's charged as well. Will she tell her story to this jury about what her husband's doing and what she was doing as well? Explain the family dynamic. What is going on in this family? Why aren't you allowed to be at the school? What happened between you and your daughter's boyfriend? And why did things get so violent? Explain it to us, please. If you want to be found not guilty. That's the way I see this, because the video speaks for itself, but maybe, just maybe, there's more than one way to interpret it from, you know, through the eyes of the defendant. Maybe we or me, I'm just not seeing something here. But I think that's what's necessary. So today, the defendant's daughter, the victim in the case, told her story on direct examination. And we're going to talk about what she said about her father, then we're going to talk about what she said about her mother. This is the most important testimony in the case. You're hearing, first of all, from the victim, who is also the daughter of the defendants. So this is the person whose story you want to hear and you want to understand. So let's begin. Let's take a listen to some of the testimony of Fatima as she explains to the jury about what happened. We're not showing her, but you can hear her testimony. Let's listen.
Well, how old is your dad, if you know?
He's in his 40s.
Okay. Do you know how tall or heavy he is?
No.
Okay. Is he bigger than you?
Yes.
And when you were talking, did you talk back to your dad? Meaning during the course of the conversation, was he just talking at you and you were waiting for the bus? Or did you engage back with him and speak back with him?
I talked back.
Okay. And was that in English, Arabic, or something else?
Arabic.
And what were you telling him?
I didn't want to go back home.
And did he accept that?
No.
And what about his demeanor or mood? Was he happy and relaxed or something else?
He looked frustrated.
Sure. Was your dad aware that people were recording?
Yes.
And how do you know?
Because he told me.
Okay. Was he smiling during the conversation with you?
A little bit.
Was it a happy smile?
No.
And tell me what you mean by that.
He looked mad while he was smiling.
So he looked like he was mad, but he was smiling more as he got angry?
Yes.
After your dad grabs your hoodie, let's go through some of the senses. What's the next thing you remember seeing? What are some of the images that you remember seeing?
I was seeing my hand reaching my neck.
When you said you saw your hand reaching your neck, okay. Do you remember if it was light out or dark out?
Light.
And why is your hand reaching for your neck?
Because I knew my dad was choking me.
What are you thinking during this period of time?
Heartbroken.
Okay. By what?
For what my dad did.
Okay. Did you have any fear?
Yes.
About what?
Of dying.
Okay. Are you saying anything?
No.
Your Honor, this might be a good time for a break.
Okay. Now, obviously, we can't see her. I don't even think you have to see her to understand the emotion of that moment for this teenage girl. She's talking about being heartbroken. She's talking about being in fear for her life. Now, she's very well spoken. She's bright. She understands the seriousness of what her parents are facing. And it doesn't seem like she is sugarcoating any of this for the jury. My dad is choking me. I'm trying to, my hand is reaching up because he's choking me. I'm in fear that I'm going to lose my life. And it's my own father. And it's breaking my heart. And you hear her emotions take over in that moment. This is why I said off the top, I mean, that's her interpretation of the violence that we see in the video. So what's his story going to be? Like, how is he going to explain what we're seeing here? This is straight out violence. And there he's got his daughter, and down to the ground she goes. Let's bring in our think tank. Joining me tonight, Ann Bremner, trial attorney, fellow of the American College of Trial Lawyers, and attorney Ali Croft-Hamill is with us as well, and criminal defense attorney Sydney Rushing. Great to have everyone here. Ann Bremner, what did you think of this 17-year-old's testimony about that moment?
You know, it was so powerful. And I have to tell you, Vinnie, this is the county where I grew up, down in Thurston County. Those are my people down there. The Olympia High School, we played Timberline, you know, I was at Olympia High School, go Bears. I mean, it's the capital, you know, the state of Washington. It's a really mix in terms of kind of jurors you're going to see, from government to Evergreen State College. Kurt Cobain lived there from Nirvana. So, it's just interesting to me to watch this tragedy unfold in a Thurston County courtroom, because it was shocking when I first saw the headline, and even more shocking when I saw it was pretty close to home. And I think she's very compelling. The word she used was heartbreaking, just like you did, Vinnie. And that's exactly what it is. I'll be interested to see what her dad says. But finally, he looked like he softened up a bit watching her, to me.
Allie, what are you taking away from this situation? Is this just a teenage daughter acting out? I don't want to go home. Dad gets frustrated, then things get out of control? Or is there more going on here? Does the jury get the message that there may be more going on here?
So, Vinnie, I think the hardest part in this case is going to be to prove intent on mom, right? There is some evidence about.
We'll get to mom in a
dad.
second. Let's focus on dad right now. Let's focus on the Papa Bear here. What are you seeing from him?
Well, I think he's got issues in this case. I think her testimony, like she said, was very compelling. And even though you couldn't see her, you could feel her through her words, through her crying. And I think that's going to play well on the jury.
Sydney, the jury has seen and heard the video. Obviously, we can't, there's so much cursing going on, it's difficult for us to play the audio of it, Sydney. If we do, it's just a series of beeps. But from your perspective, is her description of the moment consistent with the video that you're seeing?
I think it is, and I think what's really going to hurt Dad here is that she got really emotional. And if he wasn't doing what she said, how she thought that he was trying to kill her, that he was choking her, if he wasn't doing that and he had his own flesh and blood saying that this is how she felt, and he's showing no emotion, there's no tears, there's no reaction, he's just kind of sitting there stone-faced. And I think that's really going to hurt him, because the jury, they do get to see her while we hear her, and we can hear it in her voice, how scared she was at that time. They're seeing it on their face, and they're looking over at mom and dad, and they're seeing dad make no emotion whatsoever. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so upset my daughter feels this way. I would never want to hurt her. He is just stone-faced. And I think that that's really going to hurt him.
Yeah, I'm shocked that there are no tears coming from mom and dad in that moment. When you hear your teenage daughter describe being attacked by you, and feeling like you are going to take her life. Now, the jury's not going to hear about the alleged arranged marriage, and again, the defense disputes that. But let's take a listen to what Fatima was allowed to testify about. Take a listen.
How long did you know you were traveling back to Iraq before the incident we're going to talk about? Days, weeks, months, hours, something different?
Like a week or so.
Did you talk to your mom about that trip, meaning how long are we going for? What do I need to pack? Did you get any of that kind of information from your mom or your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of information did they give you about the trip?
To pack a lot of clothes.
Okay. How long were you going for?
More than at least 2 months.
Okay, so a couple of months.
Yes.
Did you have a round trip ticket or a one-way ticket?
One-way ticket.
You have previously described your prior experience going to Iraq and feeling unsafe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you have any concerns about returning back to Iraq?
Yes.
And based on your prior experiences in Iraq, did you have concerns about being safe upon your return?
Yes.
Did you have any concerns about your return to the United States afterwards?
Yes.
And what concern did you have about returning to the U.S. afterwards?
Not returning at all.
All right, Ann. Again, this is a case where the jury is not going to hear some things that we heard about prior to the start of the trial. What does the jury take away from that testimony right there? Your people.
Arranged marriage, right? Yeah, these are my people. Thurston County, Olympia, all of it. But it just told us it was an arranged marriage that she was worried about. She's not coming back. I mean, I think you can put two and two together. I'm still flummoxed by the fact that this was excluded. It's really central to the case. I mean, that's why everything happened. But I think she just as much told the jury that it was an arranged marriage she was worried about because she wouldn't be coming back.
Allie, there's a lot at play here as she's describing all of this. You know, talking about being sent overseas on a one-way ticket, pack a whole bunch of clothes, at least 2 months. There wasn't a lot of planning going into this. She wasn't part of the planning of this. You know, parents have, she's only 17, so she's not an adult yet, so the parents do have some rights over her, but how do you think the jury, do you think the jury interprets this? Do you think they take that leap and believe that this is fear of an arranged marriage because she has an American boyfriend and they want her out of that situation?
Well, I don't know that they believe it's an arranged marriage. I don't know what they believe, but they believe that she was on a one-way ticket out of here, right? And that she didn't want to go and that she wanted to stay at high school with her boyfriend, with her friends, do all of the things typical teenagers do. So I think they can understand the resentment that she didn't want to go. And what did she do? She ran away.
Now, Sydney, so we take that bit of information and combine that with what we see in the video. A young girl, teenager, doesn't want to go home. She doesn't want to go on this trip. Does she have a choice? Is it up to her? Is it up to her parents? I mean, it wasn't really described as a family trip. Like, hey, we're going back to Iraq for a couple months. It's going to be fun. We're going to see Aunt so-and-so and Uncle, you know, Uncle whatever. It's not described that way.
Right. And not only that, but this isn't, you know, at the end of the school year where you're going to be gone for summer break. This is right in the middle of the school year in October. And when you say, does she have a choice? I think she made her choice. She was worried about this, the one-way ticket, not being able to be returned back to the States. And knowing that, she did what she could. She left at 7 a.m. or at 4 a.m. The parents found out that she was missing, and, you know, then everything started unraveling from there. But she went where she thought she was safe, which was the school. She knew that mom couldn't come into school. Mom had a trespass and was not allowed to be there for an incident that happened a month prior. So she went to where she felt safe. She went to where she knew people that could protect her, including her boyfriend, who knew what was going on. And, you know, the jury isn't hearing the words arranged marriage, but I think that they're definitely going to be able to put 2 and 2 together. This 2+ month long trip, pack a bunch of clothes, middle of the school year. She's 17 years old. You know, I think that they're going to take away from this. I think they're going to figure that out on their own.
All right, let's do this. Our think tank staying with us for the rest of the hour. When we come back, Allie, we're all set up. We're going to talk about a mom's involvement in all of this, what her daughter had to say about her mother, because she's facing the same charges. The conduct seemingly a little bit different, to put it mildly. I think it's a lot different, but there is some difference in their behavior. But how much responsibility does she potentially have in all of this? Plus, coming up next hour. Tonight on Vinnie Politan investigates the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto, her alleged killer, her mother, Jen's ex, Stephen Stearns. But where was Jen Soto when her daughter disappeared? Tonight, we investigate.
Join Court TV's Vinnie Politan with the latest and breaking true crime stories.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of that.
Vinnie Politan investigates tonight, 9/8 Central, only on Court TV.
2 parents face a jury
over the attempted murder of their own daughter.
Court TV takes you inside the trial that's torn a family apart.
The attempted honor killing trial. Live coverage weekday mornings, only on Court TV.
Remember hearing voices at any point during this process?
When I woke up,
Okay, and what do you remember hearing when you woke up?
my mom,
What do you remember hearing your mom say?
my daughter.
So the testimony gets even more dramatic now. We're talking about the victim in the case, Fatima, talking about her mother now and what her mother's actions were, what she heard from her, what she was doing. And this follows the father's attack because the father is going after her, and then everyone else is getting the father off of him, including the bystanders and the bus driver. Everyone's trying to get the father off of Fatima. But then her mother steps in, according to Fatima. So let's take a listen to her describe her mother's actions and what her mother said to her.
Do you know where your mom is when you're hearing this?
Behind me,
Okay. And what is your mom doing behind you?
holding on to me,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I can't hear that.
holding on to me.
She's holding on to you. Where do you feel her holding on to you?
My chest and my neck.
Do you know how you went from your dad's arms around your neck to your mom's arms around your chest and neck?
No.
Fatima, this may sound like a obvious question. Is this a normal way for your parents, either of them, to hold you or comfort you?
I don't know.
Meaning, let me ask this a different way. Is this how your parents have held and comforted you before? Do they normally put their arms around your neck?
No.
Does that include your mom?
Yes.
What is the next thing that you remember after you described yourself as waking up? What do you mean by waking up?
Regain consciousness?
Okay. So did you lose consciousness during this event?
Yes.
Do you know how many times? Was it once, more than once, or something else? If you remember.
At least 4 times.
Okay. What's the next thing you remember seeing when you wake up? What do you see around you?
The bush.
You see bushes or the bush?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that when your mom is on you or at a different time?
When my mom is on me.
Okay. Are you talking to your mom or trying to talk to your mom?
Trying to talk to my mom.
And what are you trying to tell her?
That I didn't want her arm around my neck.
Okay. Are you able to breathe?
A little bit.
A little bit? Could you breathe fully at that point?
No.
How would you describe your mom's size compared to you?
A bit bigger.
Do you remember if you're standing, lying, or sitting down at this point?
Sitting down.
Fatima, how would you describe your awareness of your environment around you at this time?
A lot of yelling.
I'm sorry?
A lot of yelling.
A lot of yelling. How are you feeling?
Scared.
Okay. How would you describe your physical feeling? Do you feel like your normal self or something else?
Something else.
And what is that something else?
Hurt.
Okay. What happened next after you're trying to ask your mom or tell your mom to let go of you? What happens next that you remember?
Isaiah was trying to pull me.
Isaiah was trying to pull you?
Yes.
Okay. And then what happens?
I was trying to get up.
When you're trying to get up, what happens when you try and get up?
I couldn't get up.
You couldn't get up? And then what?
Well, then you didn't respond to that last one when she said you couldn't get up.
Could you not get up?
I couldn't get up, yes.
Okay. And then what happens?
Eventually I got up and I tried to walk away.
Okay. How would you describe your legs working at that point?
Weak.
Okay. Do you remember whether you saw your sister at all at any point?
Yes.
Okay, where was your sister?
She was holding on to me.
She was holding on to you? Holding on to what?
My sleeve.
And what, if anything, or what communications, if any, are you having with your sister?
I didn't have any communications.
Okay. Were you doing anything? What were you trying to do during this period of time? You're standing up, your sister's got your sleeve. Where is Isaiah? Where is everyone?
I was trying to let her let go of me.
Okay, and what happens next?
She let go, and then I started running.
Okay, and where were you running?
To the school.
Why were you trying to get away from your mom and your sister?
Because I was afraid.
Okay. Do you remember if your mom ever spoke to you in either Arabic or English to ask you if you were okay?
No.
No, you don't remember, or no, she did not?
I don't remember, and I don't think she did.
All right, Think Tank still with me here. Ann Bremner, Allie Crothhamel, and Sydney Rushing. Okay, Allie, what's your assessment of the testimony against the mother and the mother's reaction to that testimony?
So I think mom's reaction was more than dad's. You could see her looking down. It appeared maybe she was crying a little bit. Her body language was a little bit less, what's the word? Less than I would have expected. Normally, moms are crying and they're hysterical, but this could just be her personality. It's clear she's upset, although I would have expected a bigger reaction.
Sydney, what do you think of is the jury going to make a distinction here between the actions of the father and the actions of the mother, or do you think the jury just sees them as the parents with the same exact, and there we see her afterwards, hysterical, absolutely hysterical on the body cam video. But does the jury distinguish between mom and dad, or do they just see them as the parents with a single focus, a single mission?
So I think that they are likely to view them as the parents, as one. Obviously, we saw a video right here where, you know, mom's clearly upset. We're not seeing any type of reaction like that right now, where her daughter's testifying about her husband putting, you know, hands around her neck, trying to choke her. And then now she's got her arms around her. They're both upset that she's not going on this trip, kind of like, you know, snubbing them a little bit, right? I think mom also is going to have an issue because she also has a charge of violating a personal protection order, which goes against the daughter's boyfriend. She wasn't allowed to be at the school, yet she went to the school. So I think mom has a few other things that are looking bad for her. So it's going to take that included with her actions during this event, because, you know, you never see mom try and pull dad off daughter. You never see that. You never see sister try and pull dad off daughter. You see them, you know, just start to yell and then get involved.
Yeah, and the testimony is clear. She's saying that I was having difficulty breathing when mom was restraining me as well. Okay, and let's take a listen to a little more of the testimony, because she picks up where she's now trying to get away and where she runs to and what she says.
You know what happened after Isaiah helped you get away from your mom? You said you ran to the school. Where's Isaiah during this?
Running with me.
Okay. Where is your mom and or your dad or Haneen?
I didn't know where my dad was, but my mom was following me.
And where did you go?
To the school.
And where in the school?
In the front.
And did you go inside the school?
Yes.
Okay. Where inside the school?
Straight to the office.
Did you tell them anything when you got there?
Yes.
And what did you say when you walked in?
He was trying to kill me.
That's the excited utterance. That was permitted by the judge. That's a powerful line right there. And Bremner, what the defense has done here is they've pointed the finger at Isaiah, the boyfriend. He's the bad apple here.
Right.
He's the one that starts the violence. He's the problem here. What are your thoughts? Is that a viable route for this jury, for this defense to go? Will the jury buy into she's dating the wrong kid? This kid is ruining this family.
You know, that's about all they've got. I mean, I kept thinking, how are the prosecution's going to try this case like mom and dad come beat up daughter and threaten to kill her, or there's threats to kill, but because she ran away. On the other hand, you look at the defense, You know, do they want to just do nothing and say there's not enough here to prove the charges? It's overcharged. You know, this is family. You know, leave them alone, whatever. But yeah, so she's in America. She's 17. She's like got the hoodie boyfriend. You know, that we're trying to give her values. You know, we're trying to raise our daughter, you know, the way that we want to raise our daughter. And look what was happening. We had to intervene. You know, we may have overreacted, but we love her, and this is something in our family. I think that is something they can certainly try, you know, with this jury. I mean, like I said, Thurston County's got a real mix, but it's still the kind of place where, you know, that you can drive down Capitol Way and wave at people, you know. I mean, it's not Mayberry RFD, but it's close.
Let me ask you, Allie, do the parents need to testify to explain this? I mean, the lawyers can make the arguments all they want, but if it's not based on testimony and actual words coming out of the mouth of the parents about the dynamic in the family, about this boyfriend that she was with, I don't know if the jury has enough to even understand it, if in fact that's the defense. Don't they need to be the ones to establish these facts?
So they alluded in their very small opening arguments that there may be a self-defense claim. I don't know how they don't testify if they're going to claim self-defense, because they're going to have to say what happened to them and how they defended themselves. But I don't know that them opening their mouths in this case is going to do any good, considering we've all seen the video, which is currently playing on TV 1,000 times. I don't know how you unsee it, and I don't know how you explain it in this case.
You know, Cindy, when we talk about self-defense, it's interesting because they're not defending themselves against their daughter, and she's the one that's getting the brunt of the violence from them. That's the tricky little, what do we call that, a bad fact for them?
I think it's a very bad fact, and trying to say that this is self-defense against the boyfriend, yet you're taking daughter out. And that's what everyone's going to see on the video. And with them testifying, I think it would be a really bad move, because first, if this is honor killing that, you know, that they were, you know, saying in the beginning, then technically I think Dad would get up there and say, like, yep, this is why I did it. She went back on XYZ, if he's really, you know, holding up to that. But I think that testifying would hurt them way more than it would help, because if you're trying to claim self-defense here with what you're seeing, no way is the jury buying that, because you're going after daughter, you're choking daughter, you're not going after the boyfriend, you're going straight after the daughter.
And Bremner, how about the sister? This is like the wild card, right? The sister, because the way Fatima was describing her, her sister was trying to stop her as well. She's clearly on board with the parents in all of this. Does she become the witness that attempts to establish the parents' story without them testifying?
Brilliant as always, Vinnie. Exactly. I mean, that's what they're going to have to do. And the other question is, how come she's not married off to somebody in Iraq? You know, I mean, she's still there. She's still with the family. That's good for them too. I mean, if they're the jury's going to surmise that this is some arranged marriage motive, I mean, there she is, you know, hook, line, and sinker with mom and dad.
She doesn't have a boyfriend, that's why. She doesn't have a boyfriend. All right, this trial is continuing. When we come back, our think tank stays with us. We're going to talk about the shocking verdict from last week. Raul Valle, well, now he's facing new charges after basically winning the last trial, but there were some deadlocks in that jury room. So we'll talk about that and debate whether or not justice is being served.
Count 1 of the substitute information charges the defendant, Raul Valle, with the crime of murder in violation of Section 53A-54A, paren A, of the Connecticut General Statutes. Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
As to count 1 of the substitute information charging the defendant with the lesser included offense of manslaughter in the first degree intentional in violation of Section 53A-55, paren A, paren 1 of the Connecticut General Statutes, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Count 2 of the substitute information charges the defendant with the crime of assault in the first degree intentional in violation of Section 53A-59, paren A, paren 1 of the Connecticut General Statutes. Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Count 3 of the substitute information charges the defendant with the crime of assault in the first degree intentional in violation of Section 53A-59, paren A, paren 1 of the Connecticut General Statutes. Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
4 of the substitute information charges the defendant with the crime of assault in the second degree intentional in violation of section 53A-60, parent A, parent 2 of the Connecticut General Statutes. Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Raul Valle brought a knife to a fist fight. He stabbed and killed one 17-year-old. He stabbed 3 others who, thank goodness, survived. He was charged in that attack, but at trial, as you saw, he was found not guilty of the 5 most severe charges. Now, if you go through it all, count 1, they were deadlocked on first-degree manslaughter, reckless, but not guilty of the top 2. You go to count 2, not guilty of the top charge, but deadlocked on the 3 lesser-included charges. Same thing on count 3, not guilty of first-degree assault, but then you get to the reckless and the second degree, they're deadlocks. Count 4, not guilty assault to second degree, but again, you get down to the reckless charge, they were deadlocked. So now, what are prosecutors doing? Well, prosecutors have refiled charges. And they have charged him with manslaughter in the first degree reckless, assault in the first degree reckless, assault in the first degree reckless, assault in the second degree reckless. And the first degree charges are 0 to 20 years. And on the assault, you get a 5-year mandatory minimum. So he's facing some time, but there's a lot of discretion for a judge. But this is much different than the original charges. He had a 40-year plea offer, rejected that, was facing up to 60 years. That's off the table. So now it's 0 to 20 on these other charges. Let's bring back in our think tank Ed Bremner, Ali Grothhamel, and Sydney Rushing. All right, Sydney, is it fair to bring the lesser included charges against this defendant?
Now, fair or whether they were just going to do it, I think they're 2 separate things. I think they have a really tough battle ahead of them. I think the jury...
No, but is it fair to the defendant? You have the whole trial. You're found not guilty of the top charges. They deadlock on lesser includeds. Do you think it's fair that he should have to face the lesser included?
Unfortunately, that's just how our system works. Since they were, hung on that count, he was not unanimously found one way or the other. So how our system is set up is that the prosecutor can reissue those charges because there was not a resolution there, and a unanimous resolution. But whether they should or not, that's a whole nother story. Do I think it's necessarily fair? No, but the way our system is, that's what they say they can do. But, like I said, they have a tough battle with this case. It's one that I'm quite shocked that they reissued the charges in this case. I really am.
Ali, what are your thoughts here? Is this our system working or not working from your perspective?
In my perspective, I don't understand why the government can't just take the L, right? So, why do they need to refile these charges? I don't understand. I mean, a hung jury is a loss for the prosecution in my eyes.
And Bremner, he is still facing potentially a lot of time. If he gets the high end of the range, it could be a lot lower. From your perspective, what would be justice in this case? Do you think the 2 sides will talk about a potential plea offer? So, there's some resolution here. And if so, what would be fair?
Well, I was just thinking, I went to the Jerry Spence School in Wyoming years ago, and he said there's an F word in trials, and the word is fair. You can't really use that word other than when you're objecting and saying, it's not fair, I should get the evidence in. But I look at this as business as usual by the prosecutors. I mean, did they find out the split? If the split's heavily in favor of conviction on those lessers, then it is business as usual. Then you do go forward with it. The prosecutor wins when justice is done. Will they start talking? Absolutely. There are a lot of people that thought he should have had the greater charges convictions, and he didn't. He bypassed a 40-year deal, like you said. I think from here, I think he should be talking to the prosecutors, but I don't have a problem with them going forward. If indeed they talk to the jurors and it was majority that favored a conviction of any of those.
All right, Sydney, what would be a fair offer for both sides?
I think a fair offer in this is probably something that includes no time, but includes probation, includes anger management, how to deal with, certain situations, something that we see all the time. This was a 16-year-old. This is a youthful offender, never been in trouble before. Obviously, his defense was self-defense. So if they believe that, the jury believed that. That's why all the first degrees went away. But, with everything that's going on here, if they want an outcome where it's closed off and he's admitting to something or a no contest plea in some way, then I think something with probation, with a focus on, how to react or how to not, or how not to react in certain situations. That's probably a more just outcome here than it is for him to go to prison for a long amount of time. And at trial, it depends. She was saying that if the jury was more guilty than not guilty on those lesser counts, then definitely the defense is going to be talking to them. But if it was more not guilty than guilty, the defense may roll the dice.
Ali, he's facing a potential of up to 20 years by the statute. Now, I don't know how the practice necessarily works in Connecticut. We don't cover a ton of cases out of Connecticut. But what would be fair? Or do you think it's 0, the probation, and just hang it over his head for, 10 years or 15 years, stay out of trouble? Or is it, hey, you got to do some time, and then when you get out, you move on with your life?
I think he's already suffering the loss, right? He unalived someone. He has to struggle with that mentally every single day. He has to wake up and deal with the fact that he killed someone, whether it was self-defense or not. I think that's punishment enough. So I agree with Attorney Rushing. I think probation, some therapy, some how to react to certain situations. He's a teenager. It was a dumb mistake. It was a dumb fight, and hopefully this never happens again.
Ann Bremner, Ali Crothamill, Sydney Rushing, thank you so much here on Ladies Night on Closing Arguments. I appreciate it. All right, when we come back, I will reveal something else you need to know tonight, plus coming up next hour. Tonight on Vinnie Politan investigates the tragic murder of Madeline Soto, her alleged killer and sex abuser, Stephen Stearns, preparing for his first trial. What exactly was the nature of his relationship with Madeline's mother, Jen Soto? Tonight, we investigate.
Join Court TV's Vinnie Politan with the latest and breaking true crime stories.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of that.
Vinnie Politan investigates. Coming up next, only on Court TV.
Convicted killer Brian Kohberger will learn his fate for murdering 4 Idaho college students and come face-to-face with the families of his victims.
The sentencing of Brian Kohberger, July 23rd, only on Court TV.
Time to reveal something else you need to know tonight. Let's take a look at the big board, and what do we have? Smiling behind bars. Do you recognize him? Yes, that's Luigi Mangione. Apparently, the photo was obtained by the Daily Mail, who reported it appears to be captured inside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, and shows him in typical inmate clothing. He's got the fashionable watch, and you can keep that photo up there. He's also flashing with his left arm the Shaka sign, the hang loose sign. You know that he has those connections to Hawaii. Anyhow, that's something else you need to know tonight. Let's take a look, folks. We have a missing child who needs your help. Tonight. This is Wicahpito Rowland. Wicahpito, just 14 years old, missing out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Just 14, as I mentioned. This is what you need to do if you see Wicahpito. Pick up the phone, make a call, make a difference. You can call 911, 1-800-THE-LOST, or you can call the Sioux Falls Police Department in South Dakota. That number's up on your screen right now. Let's see if we can get Wicahpito to a safe place tonight. Don't go anywhere. We've got another hour of live true crime. Vinnie Politan Investigates is next. In the meantime, please don't forget to hug the kids.